Hello, everybody. It's day one of my 30-day Facebook experiment. I'm just going to hang out here for a minute and see if anyone hops on live. And if you're watching this and it's not live, I will be back and I'll be following along with comments. So if you watch after the fact, please don't hesitate to leave your remarks and your questions in the comments, and I will come back and respond to them. A little bit of housekeeping. First of all, I will be here every day for the next 30 days. I don't have the exact times, although that may change as the experiment goes on. But if you would like to be notified, make sure that you like Allegra Stein Coaching, the page, and you turn the notifications on, because then it'll send you a convenient little reminder that I'm here sharing some thoughts with you. And yeah, if at any time along the way as you're watching, you can think of someone who could use the message that you're hearing in this, please feel free to share it. I hope that this can help. This isn't for me, it's really for all of you. So if there's someone who you could think could hear it, please pass it their way. I'm here in the Northeast. I live outside of New York. It's a little bit gray and cloudy today, and it's a nice day to be a bit reflective. It feels like a good day for an experiment, and maybe I'll just go ahead and give you a little bit of background. The first thing, though, that I want to let you know is that what's going to matter with this video is nothing that I say and everything that you hear. All right, so listen for insights and for thoughts that you feel that come from somewhere different. You don't need to take notes unless there's, something that really sticks with you that you don't want to forget about, but really listen for the things that you hear and not what I say, because I find that just to be true when you're giving any kind of talk or discussion, or you're trying to tell someone something, that they're going to hear whatever they need in that moment, and it's usually a reflection of something that's within you that you just kind of wanted to have mirrored back to you, just didn't know it. So, yeah. All right, so I'm going to tell you a little bit of a story about me. Today's topic is action vacuums, and every day it's going to be a new little topic. These videos are going to be no more than about 10 minutes, let's say, so they're going to be quick and to the point, and the idea being that I want to give you kind of all of the tools I have, or a lot of the tools I have in my toolbox. I wrote a big list out this morning, and let me tell you about my action vacuum just to give a little bit of context. So I love this work. I would coach anyone, not coach anyone, but I love having coaching conversations. I love talking with people about their thinking. I love helping them move from thought into action and start taking micro steps towards the things that they want to see in their lives, whatever those things might be. And my work usually has two parts. There's usually a subtractive part where I'm really helping people calm down and slow down their own thinking and start taking away all of that judgment we have about our thinking and our feeling, settling down, re-accessing wisdom and creativity and all of the answers that we're looking for. And then the second phase of it is usually around action taking and getting creative and moving towards the things that we want to make happen. Now, coaching for me is not just a hobby, like it's something that I love and would do all the time. It's also my business. And for those of you who are watching, who are entrepreneurs, who are building your own businesses, that is an entirely different beast. And there is a very steep learning curve when you're on that path. And there is a lot of noise around best practices. Hi, Christine! Around best practices and how to take things and move them forward and to build a practice and all of these things. So for the past few months, I've been doing a lot of thinking about my coaching practice. A lot of thinking, best next steps, what direction I want to head in, how I want to try and build this into what I want it to be. And I pretty much became like a spinning top, like a pinball machine, constantly, and you can ask the awesome women in my mastermind group, Karen and Alethea, this one's for you, and the friends who I'm talking to about all this stuff, Kate, you know who you are, who have just heard me for weeks processing and thinking. And thinking takes a lot of shapes. All right. Thinking can take the shape of complaining. Thinking can take the shape of processing. Thinking can take the shape of talking things out. But essentially, I was just thinking and thinking and thinking a lot to the exclusion of doing what I most love, which is actually engaging in conversations like this, which is me talking, but hopefully you sharing your thoughts as well and questions. And so my friend Karen, she said to me, she said, Allegra, I think what's happened is all of your creativity has gotten kind of like sucked into this place, and it's all spinning around in your head, and there's not enough action happening. And it all clicked when she said that we get into these action vacuums where we're no longer doing the thing. We're not out there taking action, making things happen. And I don't think it's a new idea that action is where you get results. Action is where you try things out and see if they're going to work or not. It's like the difference between standing at the bottom of a trail and just thinking about what's going to happen when you take a step, and actually starting to take the step and walking down a trail and seeing what happens. And maybe you turn around, or maybe you don't, or maybe you meet another hiker and they tell you about some awesome waterfall up the way. But all of those realizations come as a result of taking action on something. And I realized for myself that I wasn't taking enough action. I was in this action vacuum, and the result of that was feeling like a pinball machine. Like I just had ideas bopping around and going here and there, and it was driving me a bit bonkers. And I was driving the people around me bonkers because it was just a lot of talk and a lot of thinking and processing and not much doing. So out of that came this idea. Well, I want to share more of the things that I think are valuable, more of the tools that I think are going to help you move forward on the things that you want to make happen and bring to life. And so that's where this whole idea was launched. 30 days of Facebook Live. It's kind of freaking me out. Don't know what's going to happen. Don't know if anyone's going to watch or leave comments or questions. And it's this big unknown, which is exactly why I decided to do it. So what I would love to know from you is if you are in an action vacuum, meaning are you thinking about an idea? Are you trying to figure out something? Is there a part of your life, whatever it might be, where you are ruminating and processing and talking a lot to people and just kind of spending a lot of time in your own head, but not actually taking any steps in any direction? And if that's the case, if you're in that spot, I would love to encourage you to come up with some kind of little action plan. Now, mine was called this 30-day experiment. I love using experiments. Experiments have no right or wrong. There's just results, and you look at it and you see what happens, and makes decisions based on those results. But I kind of want to challenge you to come up with your own grand experiment. Are there directions you could be taking, little things you could be trying out, experiments you could be running? And thanks for the likes. Hi, Mary Rose. Happy to see you. What are those tiny little things that you could be doing? What's something random and different, and maybe it's just been a glimpse of an idea, but that's going to put you back into doing the thing that you love. All right, so that's another kind of key point, is I love this stuff. I love talking about tools. I'm going to love showing up every day and say, hey, consider this idea. But today I just want you to ask yourself, are you in an action vacuum? And what little thing could take you out of it? Hi, Mary Rose. I'm not sure where you hopped on, so I don't know if you're kind of towards the end or if you've seen it from the beginning. But yeah, where are you? Are you up in your head? Or are you doing stuff? Because when you're doing stuff, you're going to get feedback. And as you get feedback, it's going to guide all the next steps that you're taking. And the beautiful thing is, too, is that it'll help your thinking settle down, and you won't feel so anxious about it all the time. I felt so up in my head the past few weeks, and it's nice to just be here doing what I love. So feel free to share any thoughts, any questions, any comments in the window to the side or below, wherever it shows it. What if there are so many things to do? Hi, Sarah. I didn't know you were here, and I love that you commented. what if there are so many things to do? So I would love to dive into that one because I'm curious what all the so many things are. Like, is it something you're excited by? When you say so many things to do, is it like obligations that you're having a hard time meeting, or it's like you just have lots of ideas and you want to execute and make them happen? I'm not sure. I'm not sure if there's a delay on this either. This is all part of the experiment. Uh, I mean, I like to make things very concrete. So when Sarah says, what if there's so many things to do? My response to that would be like, I want to kind of see them on paper. I want to see them written down. Like, what are so many things? Because so many things our brain translates as infinite things and it can feel overwhelming. I suspect that there's a finite number of things. Even if it's 10, even if it's 20, it kind of makes it much more actionable and easy when it's like, well, there are 20 things to do. And then we can look at those 20 things and we can strategize around like, well, are they all essential? There's this wonderful book that I read recently called Essentialism, and I encourage you to get your hands on it because it really pushes you to ask yourself, is this essential? Is this a part, and is this an important part of what it is that I'm trying to make happen? And that could be a great starting point too, is really evaluating first, what exactly are the things, so they don't feel just nebulous and like a big cloud, but they're actually a list of concrete things. And then maybe asking yourself, which of these are the ones that are the immediate ones, that are the most important, that I want to prioritize? Because one thing you don't want to do is feel like your time is being taken over by other things. It's a terrible feeling to have. And maybe I'll go into that another day, this idea of like, I don't have any time. And I like to challenge that and push back and say, you do have time. But the uncomfortable thing is to really look at how one is using it. And that can be a super fun place to explore. So Sarah, I don't know if that's created more questions or answered your original one, but I love that you asked it. Awesome. I'll stick around for a couple more minutes or a minute or two if there's any other things that are coming up for you as far as your own action vacuum. Thank you for that like. I'm going to celebrate every single one. Also, I'd love to end with an invitation. Again, a request. Please feel free to share this if you know someone who's stuck in an action vacuum and they're doing a lot of talking and not a lot of doing. Feel free to pass this along and share it their way and invite them to join along for the rest of the stuff that's going to be coming out in the next few days. And I also have an invitation. If any of this is hitting home with you, this is something that you want to explore for yourself, you want to dive in, you want a bit more one-on-one on this, you can totally reach out to me directly and sign up to chat at allegrastein.com/coaching. You know what? I'll put that in the comments just because, so it's there. Boom. Awesome. All right, you all have been great. Thank you so much. Sarah, I would love to know what other stuff is coming up for you. Might be awesome to talk. But if not, I'll be back tomorrow. Feel free to leave comments and questions, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for being here for day one.